Business for me is war. All these lawyers, advisors, academics, brokers who want to start a business, you're wasting your time. You're not good enough for me. We will finance 90% of a business. It doesn't matter what I invest. We invest in people. I never made a cold call in my life. I find it demeaning. There's the push strategy and there's the pull strategy.
He's been called a financial maverick, a political contrarian, and one of Wall Street's most outspoken dealmakers. But if you ask him, he's just a truth seeker cutting through the noise. Today on Be Aware But Don't Care, we sit down with Ziad Abdelnour, entrepreneur, investor, and chairman of the Financial Policy Council to talk about facts over feelings, capitalism without compromise, and why skin in the game beats an Ivy League degree every time.
So Ziad, you sat at the intersection of finance, geopolitics, and entrepreneurship for decades. What's the one principle that's guided you through these turbulent times?
Well, it's the search for the truth. Business for me is war. And you cannot conduct sound business decisions if you don't know the exact facts. There's a lot of noise out there, lots of propaganda, lots of fake stuff. You cannot make a business decision and expect to make money and make a difference and become a game changer if you don't have the facts.
Yeah, very true.
Most of the people don't act on facts. They act on what this guy said, what that guy said. I have to dig very deep, get to know the fact, develop the right intelligence to be able to act wisely. This applies to politics, to business, to lobbying, to anything. I'm in search of the truth. The Financial Policy Council is all about the truth. It's all about getting to know what's really going on. A lot of it, the stuff today is veiled, is agenda driven, is bullshit, basically. So I think this principle is because once I know the facts, I can act accordingly. And this is how you get the bulls, you succeed. I mean, that's extremely important. And it has guided me all the time. And this is why most of the decisions it's impossible to get 100% facts.
Yeah,
but at least, impossible. But if you get 70, 80% right, you'd better do it.
Yeah.
Two, it's your gut feeling. I think it's more important than how smart you are. If you have the right gut feeling, I rely a lot on my gut feeling, plus the facts, plus the intel, plus talking to people. I interact with thousands of people, experts in different fields. I get their opinion, their unbiased opinion, no bullshit. So you have to be very careful about how you make your decisions and what kind of information you get. That's pretty much in a nutshell.
Yeah, well, this is interesting, your answer to the question, because it leads us into the next question. Business today has been rocked by these Trump tariffs, and some people are freaking out, others aren't. You're talking about getting the correct information to be able to make that informed decision. What's your read on this whole Trump tariff thing?
I think he's doing the right thing, although it's a bit impulsive. But, he listens to everyone. He can throw an idea. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. That's strategic thinking. He throws an idea. He sees the reaction. It's not a question of being popular. It's a question of he's trying to get to the facts. He's trying to get to the right information. I support what he's doing. It is disruptive. But if you look at the past, the track record of the former presidents, they've been kicking the can for decades, nothing happening, all bullshit. This guy is trying to make a difference. This is his legacy. He wants to make a difference. He really cares. He doesn't always make the right decisions, the right reaction, but at the end of the day, it is the right decision. We have to do something drastic to fix the mess. $6 trillion in debt. I mean, it's a disaster. We can't keep on like this. We will not survive more than a year. They keep increasing the debt ceiling, not doing anything about it. This is all wrong. Yeah, there's going to be some disruption in the market. So what? So what? I mean, if you want to create an omelet, you have to break some eggs. You have to break some routine. I think he's doing the right thing. I support completely what he's doing. It's going to hurt in the short and maybe medium term. So what? In the long term, it's going to be a huge benefit to the United States. We're going to really fix the issue once and for all. So I support what he's doing.
Well, we've already seen India. India have already come to the table to do a deal,
Yeah,
and
I
that's a
mean,
big deal.
at the end of the day, they're all going to come to the table. I don't know about China, but they're all going to come to the table. And that's going to be saving billions and maybe trillions of dollars. You add to that Doge, this is how you work. You make things, you execute, disregarding of what people say or feel or being popular or not. He doesn't care if he's popular at this point in time. This is his second term, Fabrizio. He wants to make a difference and fix the issue once and for all.
As chairman of the Financial Policy Council, where do you see the US financial policy falling short? And what bold changes would you champion to create innovation and growth?
Well, there are a lot of things in finance that are going growth. The role of the central bankers before, all the quantitative easing, a lot of things are going wrong. Wall Street's role, Wall Street's agenda, etc. You cannot fix all in one day. It's going to take time to fix it all. Uh, but you have to have something drastic like Trump is doing to be able to fix the problems. Other than that, Wall Street, the financial sector is becoming uh, a revolving door for the same incompetent people. They go there, they screw up, they go through another door, and the same thing goes on and on again. This cycle of incompetence, of entitlement has to stop. Uh, and it applies, it's all across the board in finance. It's going to take time to do it. It's going to take sacrifice to do it. But people have to understand this. This can't go on. I cannot. I mean, if I'm going to start talking about the problems in finance, financial policy, monetary policy, fiscal policy, I would talk for an hour. But it's we're not here. We're not here to keep bitching and moaning. We're here to create solutions.
Yes.
This is what the Financial Policy Council is all about. Is finding the truth and creating solutions. Because once you know the truth, you know exactly what to deal with and how to deal with it, and you find the right solutions in that respect. This is what the Financial Policy Council is all about. And we bring in experts to talk about, the solution. Experts in every single asset class, Bitcoin, private equity, real estate, monetary policy, fiscal policy, and provide solutions. Nobody has the only answer. The answers you get is from surrounding yourself with very smart, very informed, very educated people to provide solutions. Not bureaucrats, but entrepreneurs, creators, deal makers. These are the guys who find solutions, not academics from Harvard and Ivy League schools and colleges. They don't provide solutions. I frankly I don't have a lot of respect for them because they don't have skin in the game. If you don't have skin in the game, you cannot really find a solution. You don't have anything at risk. You can pontificate as many theories as you want. It doesn't lead anywhere.
So you've always been a great uh, investor in gold. Ever since I've known you, you've always talked about putting money in gold and never selling your gold. Well, gold has shot up like a rocket, but not many people are talking about it. There's a lot of talk about Bitcoin that's gone down. Now it's going up again. Talk to us a bit about gold and crypto and where you see it going.
Well, my philosophy, I've never sold gold or crypto. So when I acquire gold or crypto, I keep it. I've been investing in crypto when crypto was at 17. Today is at 90,000. You know, that's how you create generational wealth. Don't invest. Don't look at the vagaries of the market. Once you own an asset, don't sell it. Stocks the same. Stocks, Bitcoin. The key is to keep generating cash flow, keep generating income, translate this cash flow and income that you have generated into building assets. The only way you create wealth by building assets. And you can diversify into the assets you want, But you want to sell Bitcoin to invest in what? In fiat money?
Yeah.
That's been depreciating 1-2% a year for the last 100 years. What do you want to invest in? Into real estate? It's pretty illiquid. Even if I don't do real estate as an investment. I do real estate to live in real estate. It's illiquid, etc. Although it may be a good investment for a lot of people, but it's not the kind of returns you'll achieve in Bitcoin, gold, etc. I really follow, Warren Buffett strategy: buy and hold, don't sell, and keep generating income, and transfer that income into digital money, gold, and assets. So it's very simple. It's not that complicated. People get very nervous. They look at the stock market every day. Oh my God, I should sell. Panicking. This is emotional. It doesn't lead anything, anywhere. Because at the end of the day, where are you going to put your money? You want to put your money into building assets.
Yeah, build a company, create a product, stuff like that. Yeah, very, very, very good. Now, what's your take on the growing alignment between big government and big tech?
Well, I'm always with big tech. Always been. They create millions of jobs. They create wealth. They create lots of entrepreneurs, innovation. Now the battle between the government and Google is ridiculous. They want to break Google. I'm always for big business, big tech. Sometimes there are some abuses which you have to control, but there's nothing that comes good from big government. Nothing other than waste, bureaucracy, and haven't seen anything coming good from big government. Even going back to FDR, to all the people who were for big government. Never. I'm a capitalist. I understand business, I understand finance. All the changes in the world, all the innovation, all the wealth creation was created by the private sector. You have to keep them doing what they're doing, but monitor them, obviously. This is not a jungle here. But going and breaking them in pieces and having, losing thousands of people. Look, all the money, all the wealth keep getting from big tech creating entrepreneurs. You know how many millionaires Microsoft has created, or
Mhm.
Apple,
Yeah.
or Google? What's wrong with that? They started there, they got their training, they did their startups, they got funded, and they're growing. Now you can't put a cap on these people and how much they make. They are taking the risks. But by the same token, you can't bail out people. I am totally against bailouts because this is risk. There shouldn't be a cap on taking risk and making money, but there shouldn't be also, oh, there is always a safety net. There is no safety net. There should never be a safety net. If they lose, they go bankrupt. They learn their mistakes. They don't go through another door and start another company and get funded. Oh, because they lost, because they're part of the global cartel of big companies. Forget about it. You take the risks, you get paid. You don't take the risk, you screw up, you're dead. Bye bye.
So we're seeing globalism collapsing right now. So what's it going to be like in a post-globalistic world?
Well, it's yet to be determined, honestly. But I think the idea of Trump and Trumpism, I call it, is spreading all over the world. A lot of countries are adopting this, whether in Italy, in Argentina, in you name it. Uh, it's catching up, even in the Middle East. It's catching up all over. I think I tend to think that there's going to be more people joining the Trump campaign, especially if he is successful now with the tariffs, especially when he shows them that what he did and what he can do. Look, I think there is a global, despite all the global, and now that Klaus Schwab from the World Economic Forum is out, and a lot of people are out or are dying, are expiring. Uh, I think Look, I think the future is for business. You want to govern, you have to have a business background. You can be a lawyer, a practitioner, uh, an academic running companies, running countries, etc. I think it's a clear trend towards business. The whole Middle East is like this. That's why I see it as a powerhouse. The Western world, it's catching up in Latin America, in other places. So we need to emphasize this. We need to push this. We need to promote business people. We need to promote a business mind because at the end of the day, it's managing people, managing your resources, uh, and engaging in fair trades. Fair trade.
Fair trade, yes.
And this is what I see going.
What advice would you give to somebody that's starting a business right now, in the climate we're in?
Well,
Would you
today is
say
the
wait or
okay. This is a good question, fair question. Today is the easiest time to start a business.
Mhm.
You need an internet connection. You need to be creative. There is much less regulation than before. Access to capital, tons of capital out there. which you can access if you have the right value proposition. Look, uh,
But will the capital be deployed
will
in
the
I mean, will
capital
the
be
investors
deployed?
put the money in?
I will tell you if the capital will be deployed. I'll tell you how we operate at Blackhawk and why we invest in certain business and not other businesses. That's extremely important. And this is, this has been acquired after years and decades of experience. There are three things that matter when we finance a deal. Number one, we only deal with operators with a track record. So all these lawyers, advisors, academics, brokers who want to start a business, you're wasting your time. You have no chance of getting funded. You want to get funded, you have to show me that you have been an operator, you have a track record. That's extremely important. This narrows the universe a lot. We only deal with operators. So a guy who wants to start a business from scratch, he doesn't have a track record, team up with somebody with a track record and start your business because I'm not going to fund you. Second, skin in the game. We will finance 90% of a business, a project finance, real estate finance, anything you want in a combination of debt and equity. But he's going to have to put the operator, sponsor, or whatever you want to call him or her, 10% skin in the game. So you want $50 million? Show me $5 million. If you don't have skin in the game, you're not a candidate. You're not good enough for me. You're going to have to show skin in the game. Now, if they don't have skin in the game, meaning they never executed, they never made any money. How do you make money? You either inherit the money or you make it through execution. If they don't have skin in the game, meaning they haven't created anything and they don't have anything what it takes and they don't really believe in their product. Oh, and they tell me, oh, it's, sweat equity, 2 years of my life. This is bullshit. How much cash are you going to put in your business? I'm financing 90% of it, debt and equity. And number three is execution. It's really track record, skin of the game, and execution. No matter what the industry, what the location, or do you invest in AI? Do you invest in real estate? It doesn't matter what I invest. We invest in people, nothing else but people, nothing to do with the industry, nothing to do with the technology. It's all about people, people who have proven themselves, people who are taking risks, people who have skin in the game, and people who are going to execute. Look, at the end of the day, every business plan I receive, they talk about the what, the when, the why, the where. It's $1 trillion industry. It's a sexy industry. I'm going to capture 1%. This is all bullshit. It's all about the how. How are you going to execute? There are very few entrepreneurs who can explain to you how they're going to execute. They cannot articulate this. If you cannot articulate how you're going to execute and show me your track record and show me your skin in the game, you have no chance of getting funded unless some idiot he is funding you because he likes the space, which means nothing, which basically going to end up in a failure. Believe me, I've seen hundreds of cases. I financed over 150 deals, companies to the tune of $20 billion. So, this is what it takes. They focus on the wrong things. They don't have anything to offer. And especially these young entrepreneurs who have a huge ego, who don't have any track record, who don't have any money, who speak so fast and they think they're going to dazzle you with how smart they are because they went to Harvard Business School. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. It doesn't go anywhere. This is why 95% of the startups fail because they can't get the money other than that, because their revenue model is broken, because they don't have any money, they don't have any skin in the game, they don't have a track record, they don't have anything. They just want to swing a fast one, pull a fast one on you. And they want to dazzle you because they speak fast, they drop names. I know this, I know that. They went to Harvard or Wharton. Doesn't mean shit. Doesn't mean shit.
So, Ziad, legacy question. When people look back on your impact in investing and policy, what do you hope they'll say you stood for?
Well, I get things done. Maybe my style is abrasive to some people, but I'm not here to hurt people or to be abrasive. But when I see something shocking, I react. I don't mince my words because I'm very fair. I'm very honest. I may be tough, very fair, very honest. I get things done. I don't take an assignment and fail. I never did. If I think there is major holes, I will not take an assignment. I'm very honest about it. Then I don't have this attitude that the big VC funds have, When you show them a deal, they tell you, I pass. Without giving you any reason, any explanation why. This is the ultimate arrogance. I don't do that. I tell you, okay, this is what if I say no, I will tell them and share with them what will it take to turn the no into a yes. If you do this, we'll get the deal done. If you cannot do it, you know, let's not waste each other's time. The legacy is very simple. I want the truth. I want a better world. I want a more prosperous world. I want everybody to benefit from capitalism. To be more educated about it.
Yeah, talking about educated more about capitalism and that, what can someone do to really? I mean, we talk about universities these days, and there are less and less young people or business people in particular going to university. They're going out there and they're doing stuff. What would be your recommendation to someone that wants to start and gain the information they're going to need to become a successful entrepreneur? Where would they need to go? Do you think?
Well, it's all about people again. You have to surround yourself with the right people. At the end of the day, you become the average of the 6 people closest to you. You either surround yourself with billionaires and game changers who are smarter than you, more aggressive than you. Listen to them. A lot of people talk. They talk about themselves. They say, stop talking. Listen to them. The most successful people are people who listen. Listen, learn, and then go and execute.
Okay, well, Ziad, what happens? Someone's watching this now, or they're listening to it, and they say, "Well, I don't know any billionaires. I don't know any multimillionaires or super successful business people. How do I get started?"
Well, you get to them by basically, look, it's very simple. I will tell you how. I've been doing it all the time. So there's two marketing strategies, whether you're marketing yourself, your brand, your company, whatever. There's the push strategy and there's the pull strategy. 90+% of the people go for the push strategy. They make cold calls, they send letters, they push their product, their services, their brand. When you're doing a push strategy, most of the time you're not going to be effective because you're in a position where you're pushing something, you're not in a position of power. The person you're pushing the product service to is in a position of power, and he's going to decide if he's going to take you on board or not, if he's going to take your value proposition or not. You're like begging, oh, please. This is a defensive position. It doesn't work. All these people, I've got tons of people. Ziad, I will introduce you to this. I don't want to be introduced. I don't want introduction, whether directly or indirectly. I never made a cold call in my life. I find it demeaning. And there's a pull strategy. That's what I do. And I'll explain. Maybe 1 to 5% of the people who do the pull strategy. The rest are unaware because they taught them at some college that you have to push. No. The pull strategy is to do a lot of writing, books, blogs, articles, op-eds, podcasts, videos, events, and talk about things we're talking about right now. People with time, they build trust. Even if they haven't met you personally, you're familiar to them. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah,
the
this
last
happens to
blog,
me all the time with my
yeah,
channel,
you know what I mean?
Biz.tv.
I mean, the last blog I've written on LinkedIn, I got like 150 likes and 40 comments. This is after a
Yeah,
day, not a month, a day.
yeah, yeah.
So, people start saying, who is this guy? I like his ideas. He's consistent. I like the way he thinks. They reach out to you. You know how many people reach out to me? I get like 50 connections and this a day, a day. Oh, I would like to discuss this. I would like to discuss that. I would like to pick up your brain. I'd like to do business with you. I'd like to meet you. Let's meet for a cup of coffee. Let's do this and that. This is how you develop your brand, by bringing people to listen to you and by sharing with them important stuff. And I talk about everything, about politics, business, geopolitics, Middle East, wealth creation, you name it. Trump policy, Trump strategy, whatever it is. Things of current affairs that affect people and that make a change. I mean, they spend their time talking about stupidities, the blogs when you read on LinkedIn. It has no value. This is why they get 6 likes and 2 comments, and then you realize you have to know what makes people interested and share with them your views very openly. That's how you build trust. And when you build trust, you build relationship, business and other kind of relationship. That's the pull strategy. Very few people apply this. When I see a very interesting blog or very insightful article or podcast. I call the guy, I follow up with him. So he's applying the push strategy. Push strategy works for me when people attract me, but very few people do, because what they say is bullshit. Doesn't mean nothing, doesn't lead nowhere. But for me, social media is about gathering intelligence. It's not about, look at my car, look at my house, look at my thing, like most people do. It's not. It's about gathering intelligence. Who are the smartest, most brilliant people out there who are making things happen? There is a lot of, I can spot from a mile away, Fabrizio, the good, the bad, and the ugly. This guy
Hmm.
is full of shit. This
Hmm.
guy is of value.
Hmm.
And I mean, because at the end of the day, all these people who want to connect with you, connect. My question before connecting, what value, what can you offer? What is your value added? Then I hear nothing. They vanish. 95% of the people, they cannot offer nothing. They just want to pick your brain, waste your time, and do nothing. So you have to be very quick on that and realize who are the real people and who are the people full of shit, who can provide value or not, because time is limited. You're not going to spend your time wasting it on some people who provide no value. And 95% of the people, believe me, they don't. They don't.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you got to be mindful. And you're right. When two people come together for a dinner or a lunch meeting, you know, the value needs to flow both ways, me to you, you to me. Otherwise, there's no benefit. That's so true what you're
So, I
saying.
mean, to answer your question, how does a
Yeah.
young person, well, you have to get very smart. So the question by sending, and for example, every time people want to look at job, they send you the resume at the last moment before they graduate. It's like you're gonna leave everything and address this question. You have to build relationships with time, with years. You have to show value. For example, somebody tells me, "Oh, I know about this." Okay, I tell them, you know what? Why don't you write me an article about that?
Yeah.
If you're so knowledgeable.
Yeah.
They just drop, or they write you some stupid article that doesn't nothing to do with it. You have to put people to the test. People have to execute to show you that. People have to, oh, this is such a great idea. Okay, how much would you invest in your idea? Oh, I don't have the money. I'm spent 3 years of my life. This is bullshit. Yeah, you know, look, some people say I'm too confrontational. No, it's not because I want to be confrontational, because I want the truth. I want to dig deep and know that there is something this person can offer. If not, it's a waste of time. I like people who are confrontational because I like people who challenge me. I really do. I don't like people, yes, you're right, yes, you're right. Or, for example, when people send you a deal, that's the
Mhm.
worst part, Fabrizio. They send you a deal, they are a messenger or a broker to some client. That's
Yeah.
fine. I have nothing against brokers. I
Yeah.
respect them, they all add value. Not all of them add, but some of them do.
Some do. Yeah.
So I tell them, okay, but I'm not going to do this deal. You tell your client, this is the terms I will do the deal under. He goes to the client, and the client says no, obviously, because they have a huge ego and this is what they think. So he comes back to me, the messenger, saying, you know what? He's not going to be able to do the deal. I told him, well, what did you tell him? I told him, it's not my fault. He's not going to do the deal. I told him, the problem is that you're a stupid moron. I'll tell you why. Do you want to be a messenger or do you want to be a deal maker? A deal maker is the guy who convinces his client that to access his capital, this is what you need to do. Most people, however, are afraid of doing that because they think they're going to piss off their client if they tell them what to do to access the capital. I've met a lot of billionaires. Billionaires like to be challenged and confronted. You don't want to be their doormat. Yes, Mr. Billionaire, I do that. Yes, Your Highness. Yes, Mr. X, Dr. X, Sheik Y. No, they want to be challenged. If not, you're like any other messenger out there. I want to be challenged. Challenge me. The more you challenge me, the more I like you. The more you ask questions that are very controversial, the more I like you and I respect you. I don't want yes man. Who wants yes man? A lot of yes man out there. Oh, this is what I could do. So you tell me you want to take 1% on a $300 million deal, which is $3 million, just to tell me, oh, he doesn't want to do it. The client doesn't want to do it. What value did you bring? Nothing. You have to turn into a deal maker and convince him this is how he's going to respect you, and this is how you're going to earn your 1% or $3 million. Why should I pay you $3 million to tell me, oh, he doesn't want to do it? Sorry. Sorry. So what is there to be sorry about?
Yeah, you have to act more as a consultant to get things done than a broker
You have to
to
act
bring the
middle
value.
consultant, like a deal maker. You
Deal
have
maker, yeah, deal
yeah,
maker, yeah.
yeah. You have to teach them because look, most of the entrepreneurs know nothing about finance. They are good operating their companies, whatever the company it is. Most of them do not because they haven't dealt with financiers for a long time, other than friends and family and stuff like that. So, but when you start talking big money, you're gonna have to be very sophisticated, very malleable, and listen, listen. Don't everybody loves to hear about himself talking. Just listen. I mean, that's honestly the secret. Listen, gather intel, develop this gut feeling. You know, finance is more psychological than anything. It's not just knowing finance and graduating from top finance business school. It is psychological. It's a power play. How you play the power game, how you convince the guy with big bucks, the billionaire, to basically marry you, marry your idea, feel comfortable. You know, these guys didn't become billionaires or millionaires by being stupid. They're very smart, they're very sophisticated. They read between the lines. They rely a lot on their gut feelings. You have to understand this. You cannot go there and say, this is what I do, this is my company. It's not about your company, it's about you. Do they like you? And I told you, we back people. I don't care what you do, the widgets, the thing. It's about you. Do I like you? Do I trust you? Can you execute? Would you take risks? How can I deal with you? It's about you. At the end of the day, it's about you. Look, you can have an A team and a B product, or an A product and a B team. If you have an A team and a B product, if things go wrong, they can turn it around. If you have an A product and a B team, if things go wrong, you're done. You're finished. You're nothing. I don't care about your product. You have nothing. This is the stuff they don't teach you in business school. This is the stuff. This is the school of life. This is the stuff that very few people teach you. And this is what I say education, and I focus a lot on education, National Policy Council, podcasts, interviews, others. Because at the end of the day, when you're dealing with an educated person, Fabrizio, you know, I mean, it's much easier to really do business with because he or she knows the nuances, you know, and what does it take really to get a deal done. I cannot emphasize this more and more. This is really important. This is much more. I mean, it's basically people with character. You look, anybody can learn anything very fast. I can hire top guys within 6 months, they know the business. But do they have what it takes? Do they have the character? Can they withstand criticism? Can they challenge people? Uh, it's a character, it's an attitude, it's a psychology, it's an approach, not just knowing the numbers. Anybody can know the numbers, doesn't mean nothing.
Yeah, Jim Rohn used to say, you know, you don't get paid for your time, you get paid for your value, the value you bring to the marketplace. So what can you do
Exactly,
to increase your value?
exactly, exactly.
And you're right, you know, resilience, mindset, character, that's what's going to give you that oomph to turn things around when things go in a way you hadn't planned. When you get punched in the face, as Mike Tyson would say, that's when your plan goes out the window. You need to rethink and you need to think on your feet. You need to get up, think on your feet, and come up with a solution and not sit there and freak out because that's not going to help.
So basically, for the young entrepreneur, you have to surround yourself with the right people, learn from them, listen to them, uh, develop good habits. You know, it's all about a question of habits. Old habits die hard. Don't be just impressed because your father said this or your mother said that. Your father and your mother live in a different generation. They may like you, they may love you, but it doesn't mean nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, a lot of people, not a lot of people, but there's groups of people now that go to the gym to work out or play competitive sports. And I think these are two things which help you with your mindset. You know, building a stronger body, playing tennis, competitive tennis, like playing tournaments or golf or whatever it may be. I think those are sport is something that can really help you to build that resilience. You know, when you do a bad shot of golf, you know, how do you not let that affect you on the next shot? You know, I think that there's a therapeutic and character building exercise in playing golf or tennis or any competitive sport, really. And I think that is something I think, you know, young people, all of us can be
Look,
doing. I
it's
mean, I
even
do.
more than that. Overnight success is 15 years. People in this generation today, they want instant satisfaction, instant success. Maybe some of them make some money on Instagram, selling videos or whatever it is. They're very proud. They're making $10,000 a month. Just bullshit. This is not wealth. This is yeah, they're trading time for money. You know, that's what it is. Whether you work for a company, etc. You want to generate wealth, you have to create it by dealing with the right people and transferring all this fiat money into assets, building assets, and not panicking every time there's a hiccup or there's a a correction in the market. I mean, think about it. If you bought Bitcoin and stayed there all this time, I mean, gold, every stock market, even look at that. When I came to the States, the stock market was at 800 in 1984. Today is at what, 40,000. The Bitcoin in 2011 or 12 was at $3. Today is that. Don't listen to the noise. Even the biggest institution like a JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, they shunned Bitcoin. They said anybody's dealing with Bitcoin, even Warren Buffett, everybody's dealing with Bitcoin is wasting his time. Now it's totally institutionalized. Do your own homework, do your own research, challenge the status quo, challenge what these people are saying. This is how you get really, this is why the number one rule I told you, I want to know the truth. I want to know the facts. I don't care what Warren Buffett says or Goldman Sachs says. They can also make mistakes. They can err. And even if they don't do mistakes, they have their own agenda. People are so gullible, gullible. Oh, it's a big name. Like a lot of people come to me, they want like $300 million, and they tell me, oh, Goldman Sachs invested in this deal, Warren Buffett invested in this deal. So could you tag along? And they lost their shirt. So what? They are infallible? You want me to go and invest alongside two people who lost their shirt in this deal to bail you out? What are you, stupid? I mean, there's this cult of the personality of the Wall Street, of the thing that you have to follow, or BlackRock did this. BlackRock did something, was investing in ESG. I wrote a blog on LinkedIn blasting BlackRock and Larry Fink on their investing in ESG. Uh, and a lot of people criticize me. How could you do that? Well, he's wrong. He's wrong. Somebody has to say it. He is wrong. This is the right thing. And, a year later, you see now they totally shunned their investments in ESG, BlackRock. Zero investment in ESG. I was right. Why? Because I came against the establishment saying he's wrong. And this is why I relate a lot to Trump. That's what he says. This is wrong. This is the right thing to do. You have to challenge. You have to constantly challenge people, challenge the status quo. Do your own research. A lot of people don't. They're very much enamored. Oh, Goldman Sachs says this, or Warren Buffett says that. So what? They can make mistakes. They have their own agenda.
Like COVID. I mean, when COVID happened and
Exactly.
everybody was told to go and get vaccinated. I mean, and most people did. Very few asked themselves the question, well, what's actually in this vaccination? And is it going to be good for my body? I asked myself this question and I made my decision. You can guess what I did or what I
Of
didn't
course.
do.
Of
But
course, I mean, see, there's this trend of people listening to others and buying all the propaganda. People are not seeking the truth. The people are seeing what's convenient, what's sexy, what's no, no, no. That's not the way to go. This is why there are very few people who really make money, and the others, they're victims of having listened to this guy or that guy, not having done their homework. Do your homework. Listen a lot. Trust your gut feelings. Surround yourself with the right people. Surround yourself with people at least as smart or smarter than you. That's what it is. But people don't do that because they feel inferior if they're surrounding yourself with super smart people better than them. They feel they're lacking something. Hence the creation of socialism, of criticizing the wealthy, criticizing the rich. It's a stupidity galore. Galore. They don't deserve to make money, these people. It's very
yeah, well,
simple.
I mean, we're seeing here in England right now, we've got a new government that's decided to tax the rich. So the rich have decided to leave the country.
I mean, the UK government, excuse my French, they are the most stupid government ever. Now they want to create something to deflect the sun. Deflect the sun. On what planet are these guys? Why did we create these solar panels actually to deflect the sun? You have nothing else to do. And a lot of people are buying it. Oh, because the government said this. On what planet are you? On what planet are you? And then you expect, I mean, the blind faith and trust in the government, in big corporations, in big and some billionaires. And then they wonder why they're not advancing in life, why they're not making money, why they're not creating wealth, why they are always victim. They're always bitching and moaning. They never find solutions. They don't want to find solutions. They're too lazy to find solutions. They'd rather be watching Netflix or playing games or something like that. You have to melt with the society. You can't go and challenge anybody. You know what? Let me tell you something. I like to shock people. I find pleasure in shocking people. You know why? Because this is when you realize how smart people are or not. This is how you realize if some people's brain is bigger than their ego or their ego bigger than their brain. People who say, wow, this is really interesting. These are smart people you can talk to. People who say, what kind of a stupid thing like this, or they get pissed off, or they start yelling and screaming like all these socialist, people. That's it. Yeah, it's very easy to judge people. I'm telling you, I developed a skill, Fabrizio, honestly, where I can judge people in 5 minutes. I can vet people. My partners tell me it's like you're on steroids when it comes to vetting people, because all my business is about vetting people and financing deals. So it's all about people. I have to be able to vet people very quickly, you know. And so they tell me, for example, a lot of people come in. I tell them this guy is full of shit. They tell me, oh, you're too tough on them. I'm not too tough. 6 months later, they come back. They tell me, you know what? You're right. You're absolutely right. I heard about this. I heard about that. This is a skill you have developed. It's a people skill, psychology. Read the 48 laws of power. Read all these books that talk about this. Then just, knowing how to put together a balance sheet or a spreadsheet. Who gives a shit about that? Anybody can do that.
Ziad, it's been great having you on the show. We'll post the links to connect with you. So those of you that have been watching and listening, if you've got a good project that you think, you could team up with Ziad, but you know what Ziad's standards are, you heard the three main points. Reach out to Ziad, follow Ziad on LinkedIn and the other links that we'll be putting here just below this podcast show. And thank you, Ziad, for being on Be Aware But Don't Care.